Greetings, hello, welcome everyone, welcome to Dev Chatter. My name is Brendan, and if you are new here, welcome to the stream. We hope that you enjoy coding with us. We always try to have fun, and we've got a nice community here, so feel free to chat. Uh, Now, as you might hear, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so I've got some scratchiness in my throat, but nothing too bad. I did want to get a stream in. I meant to do the stream yesterday, but we're going to do it today. No idea how this is going to go. So, in a previous stream, we were working on a refactoring kata. And to that end, we were writing some intentionally bad code. Now, a lot of that we were putting in were just pieces of code that we were sort of just spitballing as a group and saying, okay, what's some bad stuff we can put in here? And I want to kind of take that, like those threads, those threads that we've got, those bits of spaghetti, and jumble it all into a big ball of spaghetti code. So that is the goal for today: is try to turn what was a big mess into something a little bit more cohesive than what we started with. A couple of other things that I want to do. So, in order to make this a refactoring kata that is a little bit more real than a lot of what you get with refactoring katas, so usually with a refactoring kata, you've got like a basic console application that you're usually trying to work with. I'd like to go a little bit further than that, and the way that I'd like to do that is by adding in a database. Now, the argument against adding a database to a refactoring project is, of course, that if I put a database in this project, I've suddenly increased the barrier to entry for someone to even try the kata, which is why most katas and programming exercises don't feature a database at all, or really much data storage, because that adds a barrier that becomes more difficult for people to use. In order to sort of get around that, I'm thinking we need one of the solutions for data storage that requires only a DLL and not a fully installed application to be on the computer. So in this instance, I'm thinking Sqlite is going to be our answer. So I'm planning on creating a Sqlite database that we can use to store some of the information that we were working on here. Hang on one second. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at what code we've got here. Hope you don't mind, I'm going to use a cough drop just to make sure I don't cough on you guys too much. Sorry, everyone. All right. So let's take a look at the code that we've got from last time. So we've got what we called bad console app. Now again, yes, this is starting with a console app, but I like the idea of data storage. We might shift console app into, say, an ASP.NET API or something like that, or even have a front-end website on it. Console app is just so we can have a runnable piece of code. And we didn't bother with tests. Now, my plan for the kata, once we figure out exactly what we want to do with it, is we might include a test project that maybe does a nothing test. Something I dislike in refactoring katas is when they come with a suite of tests that are the harness already. I like that as an option, but I don't think that should be the default case. I think the default case for refactoring kata should be you step in, the code is junk. It's basically look like a real world project that maybe had deadlines, short budgets, or inexperienced developers, or time crunch, or maybe just lack of caring. But for some reason, the code is not in good shape right now, and that's the refactoring kata, and you're supposed to change it. But the intention is that with a refactoring kata, it's supposed to be scary to change it. So that's the boat we're sort of sitting in here, is trying to create that. So for now, I believe we have, okay, so this doesn't have anything in it yet, and we've got program, summary comment, sweet. We've got some to-dos on the bad stuff we were planning on creating here. I really like that idea of having these to-dos in here. so we know what are the terrible things that we had ideas for but haven't yet implemented. All right, so let's see what happens in this code. So it starts off in the main, comes down here, writes out processing items, goes into a for loop. A strange for loop, I just want to say, because it looks like we're going backwards. Hey, ADC, welcome. And then, what are we doing? I'm loving these comments already. This is the old code from the last time. Compare two variables. Sweet. Thanks for that comment. Shopping items. So we have a collection of shopping items. So that's what's going to get stored in our database then. Shopping items. We have a string builder. It looks like we are appending them out. And then we have some list of discounts and stuff we were working on. We have some way of comparing shopping items to see if they are the same. And these must be the stuff you can buy. All right, let's run this code and see what happens. Now, I don't remember last time if I was running this in VS Code or Visual Studio. Doesn't really matter. They both work. I might have been running both. Yes, I'm weird. I keep the same solution open in both VS Code and Visual Studio, especially if I'm doing a website that has both a front-end element and a back-end element. So if I'm working on an application, whether the static front-end parts are being served by the ASP.NET website, or whether, and that could be core, by the way, in fact, it's going to be core, or whether it is two separate sites, a standalone front-end site and a back-end API, or whether the back-end API actually serves the content, doesn't really matter. But I do like having a VS Code site up for the front-end site and a Visual Studio for the back-end site. That being said, when I'm in one or the other, I still sometimes make changes to the other one, but if I know I'm mostly doing front-end or mostly doing back-end with my change, I'll be in VS Code or Visual Studio, respectively. You found a nice VS Code extension called To-Do Tree, and you found it really handy for tracking those tasks. So that is awesome, ADC. For anyone that doesn't know, if you write the word to-do as the start of a comment in C#, or really any language, you can actually find those in the task list in Visual Studio. So if you just go to View Task List, it'll pull down this. It's not a great interface, but it at least keeps track of them. And you can look at them, based on, current document solution. So the standard, groupings that they've got. I'm assuming the one you're talking about, EDC, is way nicer in the VS Code extension, because there's a lot more that you can do than just listing them here like this. So super useful stuff to have those kinds of things. Can you have a to-do comment in an to-do in an XML comment? Do you mean the multi-line comment in C#? The answer is yes. Or do you mean in XML, like it's in HTML or XML or one of those other places? And I believe it does find those. I'm pretty sure Visual Studio finds those ones as well. And yes, ADC, it is in Visual Studio by default, which is part of the reason why some of us actually do recommend that you use those, though a rule in a PR merge check. So if you have a continuous integration check on your code, I do recommend before you go into your main branch that you have a check or something that at least make sure it points out any to-do comments that were left in there. So you're not littering your code base with to-do comments, because in theory, your to-do comment should be completed before it merges into main most of the time. Some exceptions apply. There might be no, we really want to have that one in there, but it should be the team deciding to do that, not just, yeah, we're filling up our code base with to-dos, it's going to be great, and no, they don't get finished. If you let them merge in, they don't get finished. That's why those to-do comments should be finished before you merge. So if you end up with a lot of that, and that's why you're against to-dos, look into just adding a rule into your continuous integration server, whether it's GitHub Actions or Azure, Azure DevOps or TeamCity, Jenkins, whatever it is that you're using to do your builds. Every source control has one, and there's also many separate ones. So whatever you've got, put that in place. You'll be glad you did. You'll stop having a code base full of to-dos. That being said, this one intentionally is going to have to-dos still sitting in there. Maybe some irrelevant. Okay. So we need some items in our code base. We want this to be bad. So I want to create a database for it. So I'm going to make a new database, and I'm going to put it in there. Okay. So, hey, Stoolpenner, welcome. Let me catch up on chat real fast before we continue. You're slowly introducing work to yes. If your business is not doing CI in some capacity, you really need to be working on that. That is actually one of the things that I do help a lot of my clients with, is getting their CI stuff set up, because I find it so important for writing better code, having better processes, to be able to automate out some of those steps, and to be able to have some of those checks is another good way to make sure, like, hey, we as a team decided we're going to do this. If your CI system does not enforce that, you didn't really decide that. You just kind of said you were going to do it. You especially like the to-do comments right next to code that seems to do exactly what the comment wants. Yes, yes, because sometimes you forget to get rid of it after you do it. Welcome, greetings. Okay, so this tool that I brought up here is called the Database Browser for Sqlite. This is just one tool that exists for reading SQLite databases. I kind of explained this a little while ago. A SQLite database is essentially just a DB file. Now, these are very simple databases. You're not going to get a lot of good structure, so hence why we're just using this for a refactoring kata. Anybody that's doing this refactoring kata should assume that normally it would be a SQL database, like a big relational database, MySQL, MS SQL, something along those lines, is what that's actually representing. And having it gives them the dependency that's a pain in, because there's actual data and you got to care about that and you need to avoid it and work with it and work around it. But rather than having someone doing the kata be required to go and either install MySQL or MS SQL in order to be able to do the kata, we're going to use SQLite. The way that it works, instead of installing that, is you can include just a DLL that knows how to read these. So for our case, we're going to install a NuGet package that will let us talk to this. But for now, let's create a new database. And I want to put it where this is, so hang on a second. I want to put it right with this. So let me get the file path. Okay. Now I'm going to create a new database in that file path. And do I put it above source? Do I put it right in the root of source? I think I do. I'm going to put it right here for now. Oh, and what do we call this? Database. So it'll be database.db, huh? Yep, really clear name. Now we need a table. Okay, something we had worked on before. So we were working on this kata. We're writing intentionally bad code. We're trying to make it confusing and difficult to work with. So I have a question for chat. Have you ever worked on a project where you had a domain concept, some kind of object, that had one name that was called by, say, the marketing team, where they sold the product this way, but when it was originally developed by the dev team, they used a different name. But then someone came up with the idea of changing the name, and so you've got 3 different names for it depending on where you are in the code. I know you've never seen a project where that was the case, because that would be terrible. And by that I mean, I have seen that, and you've probably seen that too. Hey, Renee, welcome, greetings. And hi to everyone else who's in chat and not talking. Never feel pressure to talk if you don't want to. You started building a CI by just letting it build, error checking, and run unit tests. Oh, yeah. As Renee says, if you start off with literally just the basic does it build check, like even that, you don't even need the unit test, just does it build, will save so many times just the silly little stuff of, oops, I forgot to check in the project file. Oops, I forgot to check in the solution file. Oops, I forgot this. Oh, yeah, like the kinds of things that those just save you. It is amazing. And additionally, Adding the unit tests is also good because you stop getting the broken ones. The challenge with some teams is they can't get to green in order to put it in the first time. And so you really got to work to get the first green, get it in place on CI, and then not let it fail again. That's the challenge. But once you can get that, the teams usually love that set. And then once you get the other things like, hey, we're automatically deploying to a dev environment so you can immediately go and check it. Hey, we're automatically running the UI test so you can immediately see whether or not it's actually working. Hey, we're automatically doing a package and automated build. And hey, we've got this automated feature where we're using Dependabot so it brings in the new updates and it runs them against like the UI test. So they ran through the application to make sure that there weren't any breaking changes we didn't notice from the build and the unit test when we pulled in the new version of the package thanks to Dependabot, and you're like, yeah, our packages just update automatically in NuGet and npm. It's like, yeah, there's amazing stuff you can do with CI. Okay, let's go ahead and create our table. So what did we call these? We called these a shopping. A shopping has... These appear to be products. But we called it a shopping, which was our mess up the names idea here. Do we have? Yeah, so we have shoppings. We're finding shoppings. So they're going to be called products, but we're not going to use vowels because someone at some point in this project had the idea that shorter names are better because it's wasting space to include the vowels. Products is. Exactly. All right, so we've got the purgs. Purgs. All right, now what are the objects in this? We've got a name and... Oh, yes. Oh my god, I forgot we did this. Oh, it's so glorious. All right. I need another word for price. So we've got price and we've got cost. I need another word. Who's got it? Yes, exactly. Codebase alpha. It's more moolah. That's more like money. I need the maybe it's just amount. Value or yeah, okay. Ooh, yeah, value is good. I think amount though because amount can get confused with count. So, let's do that. So I am going to give it a name. And the name is going to be text. Oh, I'm so tempted to primary key the name, but I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. You know what? I think I will do... I'm going to call it identifier. So we're going to have identifier as the beginning. It's not null, it's a primary key, and it auto increments. And then we'll have name, which will be text. It'll be not null. Do they need to be unique? I'm going to say no, they're not unique, because that's worse in the code. And then what did we say? Amount? Which will make a numeric. I think numeric is the one we want for this. Yeah, amount for sure. Yeah. Obscurity through relationship to money. Yeah, don't worry, Calraven. I like the idea of moolah. Have another unique value in the table. That's a good idea. You know what? You're right, Codebase Alpha. We should have a second identifier. This reminds me of a codebase I used a couple of years ago. I was working on a codebase that had an internally used identifier and 2 additional unique identifiers. So every object had 3 identifiers depending on which system you were communicating with, and translating between them. Like, I get that it's easy, to just be like, oh, that's the ID from this system, that's the ID from this system, this is the ID that we use here. It's like, it's like, you gotta be like, okay, this came in as ID. Which system did it come from? Okay, it's that one. So we need to map it to it needs to immediately map to this. So, yeah, I know, right? We've all worked with this stuff. That's why it's a good kata. The point of it is you should get used to this, because we know you can't have a null price, by the way. Or you can't have a null amount. So how about an identifier and an ID? There we go. This is evil enough, I think. This is not null. Auto. Oops. It will only let me auto increment the primary key, I guess. That'll be unique. It's not null. It's called ID. Yeah, that'll work. So I think we were saying that this was going to be inventory management. So, oh, a product number. Yeah. Product number. Thank you. Great suggestion. There you go. Product number. And I don't. We're going to get rid of ID because I don't need two of them. That's a little bit too evil. Okay, so identifier, and then let's move product. So we got identifier, then product number, then name, and then amount. Product number is oh yes, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you. Yes, product number is text because the product number might have a letter in it, so that's important. But even better is when you're trying to find out from a business when you come across the identifier that's a string in the database and you're like, is that ever allowed to be something that's not a number? And they go, we're not sure, and you're like, okay. So, always the best. Count Raven, discount field that's required. We're gonna have a separate table for discounts. I think we have some discount like there's some code about discounts. We want both discounts and deals and other things. And I think the way we wrote it is their names reverse in the code. So like the discount's name is deal and deal's name is discount or something. We did something weird. I don't remember exactly. You need some mix-in naming scheme. Table is products. Rest is normal. Try mixing the columns up as well. Yes, you're right. I thought about doing some strangeness with the with the column order. So yeah, let's put name on top. Yeah, hang on. Let's put name on top followed by product number, identifier, and now we need something at the end. What do we want at the end? Because we don't want the identifier to be last either. It's got to be somewhere in the middle. Hey, Sudo, welcome. Greetings. Text. Short name. Short name. And no, that's not required. Short name is not required. Product doesn't have to have a short name. Oh, we could add a description, but I don't want to have to short. No. You didn't go all in. You didn't go all in, Stoolpenner. No. If it's gonna be short name, then it's got to be shortnum. It's shortnum. Parent product? No. That'll be every afternoon. That is so evil. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this concept, and I was like, no, because clearly you would have like categories of products, not an individual product as the parent, because that doesn't make sense. You don't, if I'm selling like, different, let's use potato chips, right? If I'm selling potato chips that are just the original flavor isn't the parent of like the barbecue flavor or the salt and vinegar flavor. But now I'm sitting here going, maybe you're right, maybe we should do that, because normally it should be like in the category of potato chips or have tags, or I don't know. But now I'm sitting here going, well, maybe we should do you reuse the table for both the parent and the child. And oh my god, I'm thinking about it. Oh my god, I did one of those projects like 3 years ago that did that, where like the parent object was like they're in the same table, and it's literally, he's referenced to the same table as it goes up, and you're like, there is too low count of boolean. Oh, thank you, Paprika. Yes, you're correct. We need a boolean. Is enabled. Actually, enbled, disabled, because it's really important that you have both enabled and disabled, and one has to be true and the other false, and the other false, and you know, like, yeah. uh, let's see. Base flavor would be truly reasonable, but parent product is good. Yeah, yes, exactly. No, I agree. That's why. That's why I think it's a good idea for the kata. Is terrible though. Also, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. But yes, both nullable. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Paprika cups. You got it. Both are nullable. Not enabled. OMG, Calraven. Yeah, that might be better. Because with this, they might figure it out. Yeah. And actually, I made a mistake. I started it with an E. But I don't have vowels in there, so it's nbld and nittenbld. Do people really use bool for enabled, disabled? I thought you usually have a date start. Yes. So after time, yes. Starting and end dates and other things like that. But usually I don't even keep that on the product because you might have more than one start and end date. So I don't even bother with putting on the enabled, disabled bits in a lot of things. Like if I were doing a product database, I would have like, you know, basically like status conditions of when it's going to start this status and end this status and other things like that, because you could be like, yeah, here's the pre-sale time period, here's the time when it's regularly on sale here, you know, and then it's, you know, this is the going away, and then it's disabled, and then hey, we might bring it back again someday, so we want to be able to re-enable it without losing the previous time that it was in it. Like, yeah, that'd be so much better. But no, we're just gonna flip it on and flip it off because that's the best way to do it. You want to do some it is a beautiful disaster. Your organization system only uses disabled flags, and everything inits with disabled equals true, but all the design docs are in terms of enabled. Yes, yes, ADC, because no one's brain thinks disabled. We don't think in the negative. We think in the positive. And so if you name it the reverse, it gets so confusing. Yeah, like it should be is enabled, and like if you are gonna enabled those kinds of things, with the exception. But yeah, so as Cal Raven points out, a lot of people will use enabled and disabled as like soft deletes for things, but that's also kind of dangerous because you can run into like ID conflicts and other stuff like that. So date times with different formats. Nah, I don't want to dig into date times too much, and the only reason is because we are using Sqlite. If we were not using Sqlite, I'd be all about date times. That being said, you can use date times in SQLite, and I think you can get away with either using integers or strings for that, but it does not have a date time object in it. You just have to extract out of that. And because of the fact that when you're using SQLite, you get into the boat of like the tooling's going to automatically do the conversion for you. Because of that, and I'm planning on using that because I don't want to make, you know, a whole layer for that. We're not getting that messy. Because of that, the different formatting won't be a problem as long as the formatting is there and consistent. So what we want to have is the model object you deal with after the fact to be more confusing. That being said, I guess, no, actually, Paprika, you might be right, because now that I think about it, what would be worse is if the date times from the database were still stored as strings when we got them, and my brain wasn't quite thinking bad code enough. Whereas it would be really bad code if all the dates we used, even after they came out of the database, were kept as strings instead of date time objects, despite C# having date time. Paprika, you win. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I know, ADC. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. You can blame Paprika for the date time pain right now. We're gonna add it. Um, let's just start it with a first date of selling allowed for in stores. Nice short name, very concise. Let's make it text. All right, let's go ahead and leave this database as it is. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it great? I'm hoping that means people have to actually read it. Should products be a foreign key of a table called all products? Maybe. Let's start out a little. Let's start out about here. I want to figure out how we get discounts in here as well. What about storing it as a double using Excel? No. Every afternoon. So Renee, we have to be a little bit careful. I just read your suggestion of the UTC non-UT switch. Here's the problem. At the end of this kata, once we have the sample code has to work. That's the ugly part of this. Is that the goal is that the code works. Because when someone starts this, they need working code that they need to not break as they add a new feature to it. And so because of that, we don't want to make it too hard to work with, or we're going to mess ourselves up. So confusing stuff, totally fine. Stuff that's a pain to work with, that's getting into a little bit worse for us. We want people to be confusing, and we want people to be confused by it, and then also have some problems because they can't get stuff to change without breaking other things. Which is why I really like the idea of the parent product thing, but I'm not going to dig into that just yet because that gets a little messy. All right, let's have a look. So for now, we had this hard-coded set of shopping items, but we're going to put that in the database. Which we called them shopping items there, we called them products there. What's another name for a product? How about we just call it an item? Ooh, yeah, that'll be good. All right, let's make a folder called data. Inside this data folder, we're going to have a class called products. Oh no, items. I was thinking products at first, and no, I'm thinking items. They got to be items. So these are the items. And inside of items, it's going to be static, of course. No, it can't be item. Yeah, we're going to have items and item. I'm glad you're enjoying this as much as I am. All right, so public string item. The item is going to have a name. Items is going to be a static class that's going to be public. I could do a list, but you know what's more fun than a list? Returning back enumerables. So I don't know for anyone who's in the chat that has been a follower of my stream for a long time, I am sure you have heard me rant about how so many people just got on the there's an interface. Yeah, use the interface for everything. And I just kind of sit there and I'm like, yeah, you get a little bit of flexibility because you could return something else, but honestly, what am I going to return other than like an array or a list of an object? So I should return an array or a list of object, because if I'm giving it back to someone else, unless I care what they're going to do with it, I should just give them the most information I can. Thus, if this is a list, I should give them a list so they can use it like a list, and they don't have to guess whether it's in a list or an array or an enumerable or what it is. I'll just give them the list. If it's an array, I give them the array, and then they know what they can do with it. If you give them an array, they know, oh, I shouldn't add stuff to this because that's going to, or, oh, I give them a list. Oh, I can add stuff to this, right? It is still going to have, there's performance issues with that, but they're going to know what they're working with. Whereas if I just give it an enumerable, they're like, I don't know what I just got. Maybe it's a custom collection. I have no idea. It may not even be a collection. It could be yielded. So there are reasons to return an IEnumerable, but if you have a real object, give them the real object unless you've got a reason not to. And then when accepting stuff, if you say, all I need is something I can iterate over once, then you ask for an enumerable. So the interfaces are for like, when you're saying, here's what I need, you do the interface. But then when you're giving something to someone else, you say, here, it's this. Let me give you all the information that is reasonable for you to do. If you're trying to keep protection between the layers so that layers don't know about other things in the domain, that's a different story. But for like low-level objects, like this is a list or something like that, yeah. And you could add queryable or something like that. So there are other stuff, because if it is a queryable kind of a thing, they might want to query on it. Could name be bytes instead? No, we're not that evil. Okay. Let's get some of this in place here. So IEnumerable of item, and it's going to be it's not gonna be get items. It's just gonna be items. It's just gonna be items. Can I get away with that, or is it going to yell at me? Items cannot declare instance members in a static class. Oh, whoop, yeah. That's a valid complaint. Now, is it going to complain about the name, or is it going to let me get away with this? Member name can't be the same as them. Yeah, there's way too much fun implementing this. It's just fun to write and just laugh about all the bad. Look, every developer has both written bad code and also has run into bad code in code bases. Okay, we can all enjoy this. Tell me you haven't seen places where code like this existed. Just try. And yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay, so funny thing, Cal Raven, I have had to explain that concept to people over and over because there are a lot of people that are like, the constructor of a type, it looks like the constructor is the name of the object, right? So if I were going to make the static constructor for this, what did it do? What's the static constructor? Is it, did I, I forget how to write the static constructor. Is it tilde? Is that what it is? Either way, the point being, that, what was my point? Oh, yeah, here, I'll just put it on this one, because this is all I was trying to say. So, when you look at this, you can think of this as one of two ways. So this is the access modifier, and this could be the name, but I don't think it is. I think that. I think item, in this case, is the return value of the constructor, and it's the nameless method. This is how I think of them. In that it's like you're defining what the item is that it returns, and so essentially if I have a method that doesn't have a name, that's the constructor, is sort of how I think of it. So see the gap here that I'm putting in? I'm kind of thinking of this as like public, return value, and then that. I don't know whether that's, intentional with how like the languages were created, but that's the way I think of it in my brain, is that way. But you can also think of it as if it has the same name as the type and doesn't have a return value, then that's, effectively it's the same name. So it's a little confusing, but yeah. Initialize it in the constructor, then empty it on the method. Oh, we could. Or maybe two classes, sellable item and non-sellable item, and the code has to use those nullable bools in the database to populate them correctly. Okay, so Codebase Alpha, my plan is actually to just return all the objects so that any check about whether or not something is sellable or not, or enabled or not, is done at the point that it's being used every single time. So the check of is this enabled is going to be done right at the point of action with the object every time, just so it's scattered through the code base and is horrible. So yes, planning on doing that kind of concept, but I don't want to name and group them because that would be helpful. Too helpful. Yeah, exactly. They're just regular. A constructor is just a regular method that the language has a built-in way of calling. That's really all it is, and they've got some special rules and restrictions on it too. Um, and there's 90% identical code. Yeah. Oh, maybe two. Oh, you want to do two classes? That see that I agree. I love the concept, but that could be a pain for us getting it out. And I don't want the I want the pain to be on whomever's trying to change this code later, not on us building it. We need it easy. Okay. Okay. So we've got name and product number. Product number. Then we've got amount. And this is I think it's a decimal. Double. No, the code has to work. Excuse I mean, that's effectively what we're using. Uh, and then identifier. What was identifier? Hang on. I need to look at these objects again. Identifier is an integer. Because this is the ID. Identifier. And then there's short name. Yeah, the short name. Perfect. Oh, you know what I just realized? I need to be doing more of that. Enabled. Not enabled. Is that what I call it? Yeah, not enabled. And then first date of selling allowed in stores. And remember, we're keeping that as a string, not as a date. First date of selling allowed in stores. Okay. Let me check up chat. Always confusing what's a SKU versus a product number. Yes, I agree, Codebase Alpha. It is super confusing. Can you use a different name in the code? Contrast to the database? Oh, hang on, I'm turning green. Hang on. There we go. Messed up my green screen. Ooh, you're right. Enabled and not enabled are nullable. I think they are, yeah. Oh, I left one of them as an integer. Oops. I did not mean to do that. That's actually a mistake. They're integers. I meant to actually. Oh wait, no. Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot. It's I totally forgot because it's Sqlite. So it is. They just have. Yeah. I just had an idea. They're strings now. So what do you think? One of them is the string true, and the other one is the word yes. What do you say about that, huh? Huh? Make one int and one text. I was just gonna do two different names, but all right. Not enabled is an integer now. We'll go ahead and change that. So not enabled is an integer. We made it. We're gonna make it still temporary there. Okay, there we go. Not enabled is an integer. First date of selling allowed in stores. Okay. So now we have our items. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. So we had called these shopping. So what I'm planning on doing is still maintaining that our local variables are going to be called shopping. For now, here's what I want to do. I want to take these and put them in that database. So our bruschetta toast crunch, browse data. That's going to be the first name. Product number is 42. The amount is 337. The identifier. Can I? This does let me add in this, right? Browse data will let me add data, I think, or only search it. Maybe it's just gonna search it. I have to remember how to do this. How do I insert into table? Browsing the data. Can I insert, or do I just have to execute SQL into it? Let me try this. Insert into products, values, bruschetta toast crunch, and then the product number we said was 42, which is a string apparently. And then the amount is 3.37. The identifier we leave out. Do I just leave that blank? Yeah, Renee. Oh, can you think I can just hit enter to store it? All right, let me try it. Enabled. We said enabled is the string, so that's yes. And then not enabled is the number, so that's -1. -1 and +1, not 0 and 1. We're going crazy here. First date of selling allowed is going to be today. Let's try it. No, it won't let me add it there. Okay. So amount we did 337, and then short name is BTC. Yes, -1, and then the date today. Yes, -1, and then. And yeah, I'm doing. Yeah, so the challenge there, Stool Penner, is that what I'm planning on doing is okay, all right, that date's too programmer friendly. All right, the problem is today's date is not confusing, so we'll leave it in there for now. Let me see if this works. All right, confusing syntax near the comma, huh? That's use. Oh, whoops. Huh. Do I null that spot, you think? Okay, let's see. Did it get it? Clear all filters. Okay. Let's make this big so I can hopefully see all these. That put it as #1. So, okay, that works. Alright, so I can add them in this way. So, Pizza Crunch cereal. And now is 209. 209. What's the number for this? 44. And this is Pizza Crunch cereal. And what else do I need to customize about it? Yes, -1, and this either starts a day later or a month later. Who knows? Okay, and now milk. Every store should sell milk. Milk. That's product number 4. Oh, I put the price in wrong on that one. It doesn't matter. $5.37, and this is milk. Yes, -1. That starts either a day or a month later, who knows? And then pizza. Pizza's number is 13. And pizza costs $1.42. Pizza is just za. Okay. Alright, next product number should be 0. Oh my god. Stool Penner. Stool Penner, you're a genius. Oh, man. Oh. Yes. Stool Penner. Oh my god, I should have been paying attention. That is wonderful. Can I change? Can No, I can't change them there. Don't worry, I'm adding one in. We're getting a product number 42042. We're just gonna add another product. All right, what's our next product? We need a product name. McCullen, hey, welcome. Greetings, everyone. And Jim, greetings. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. You found us through our GitHub Dev Chatterbot project. Yay. So welcome. Jim or Jim F and Canada. Welcome. I'm south of you. Hi. I am on the north coast of the United States, so I could swim across a lake and get to Canada. No, okay. Honestly, I can't swim across the lake. Probably not. That's actually pretty far. The lakes are big. So what do we got? Avocado toast. All right, sweet. Is it avocado toast? And it is 1337. We said. Oh, whoops. 1337, and the product number is 042. No, and this is avocado toast. Yes, and if I change this to 13, we're gonna break the illusion, and people will figure out which one is the month and which one's the day. So, in order to avoid this problem of removing confusion, we're gonna increment this number. Okay, so now we've got avocado toast. What else do we need? So we've got avocado toast. There's some other stuff we could add in here. Avocado toast and you didn't get it, Jim. You didn't get it. You got every other lake. You missed one, Jim. You missed mine. It was close. That was good. You got 4 of them. A lot of people forget about Lake Ontario, but I guess the Canadians probably wouldn't because of the name. Yep. I am at the other one. Okay, avocado toast, and I need something that starts with a T. Oh, and tuna. There we go. The name of this product was just so I could do that. I don't know how close people are paying attention to the name I just put in there, but yeah, this is an AT-AT. There should be a lake. Yeah, so it's Lake Erie is the one you missed there. That's the only one you missed. You did pretty well otherwise. Why did my chat disconnect and reconnect? I hope my stream's still going. Lake Erie, yep, that's the other one. Which, yep, there are only 5 lakes, and makes sense. There's been a decent amount of stuff about Erie. There's a Netflix show right now that I haven't watched yet that I've been meaning to, that I'm assuming has something to do with the state that I live in. Because it's like, I forget what the show's name is, like Devil in Ohio or something like that. I'm in Ohio, by the way, which is the state south of Erie. Um, although I guess technically New York has a Pennsylvania has a tiny little bit on there, and New York has a tiny little bit. I think they touch it. So like, but majority of it's Ohio. If you watched Paper Girls, for example, that is actually set around here. So like, they're fake. What do they call it? What is this? What's it called? In that? There's a comic book series that got turned into an Amazon Prime show, and they have a city named Stony Stream. And I was like, Stony Stream, what is that? I was like, Stony would be Rocky, Stream would be oh, it's Rocky River. There's a city named Rocky River, which I assume the author of the story must be from Rocky River or something like that. But I was just like, huh, what is that one? What's Stony Stream really? They wanted to use a made up town. It's just funny. The bad code's actually going pretty well. The code is terrible. This is really bad code. No one should ever write this code. Okay, good. I already put this one in here. So that's the AT-AT. Is that enough products? You know what? Hang on. I know what we need to change. Let's call this hot pizza. And it'll be 142, 425 can be the price. And this will be huzzah! It can be the same date, that's fine. Okay, so hot pizza. Here's what I want to do. Any product whose name starts with the word hot, something about it. So we're going to have a couple of things that are hot, and that is going to affect something. So the name is going to be consistent on these. Hot wings. Huang. There we go. Hot wings. What else do we need? Hot rice. We'll have hot rice too. And this will be. There we go. HRC and hot rice will be a little bit cheaper. It'll be $2.25. There we go. We got some products. Hot 5 chili peppers. We can add hot chili peppers. Yeah, the the hot chili. These aren't the red hot chili peppers. They're just the hot chili peppers. Hot chili peppers. $4.44. It costs $2.50. There we go. And we also sell Hot Wheels cars. All right. So I don't want to hit on the trademark, so we're not going to sell Hot Wheels cars. We're going to sell Hot Tires automobiles. Automobiles. These are knockoffs. They're cheap. The Hot Tires automobiles. And those gotta be like what, $100? There we go. Let's see how our data looks. Do we have enough items? We have 10 products. I'm calling that good. So that was just, we just wrote that SQL statement to insert data into our local database. So we're using a local database here just so that we've got it. We're going to need to add Sqlite into this for our data access. Hang on a sec. Okay. Uh, no, not MSSQL. This is SQLite. I explained that at the beginning, but I'll explain it again, obviously. Um, so SQLite is a special little. It's a database type that is just a file. There is no big program behind it. It's a very simple thing. It is meant for either small applications or for testing purposes and things like that, so you can have some data behind something. It is not meant to compete with something like a SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, whatever. It's not in that like segment of the market for database for data storage, I should say. And SQLite's point is that you can use SQL to query it, but it is a small implementation. So your database is going to be an individual file that you're going to store with the application. The advantage for us there is that someone doing this kata in the future will not have to have Oracle, MySQL, MSSQL, or whatever other database system installed on their machine in order to be able to do this. Now, I have seen some people take the approach where they provide a Docker setup with a database, and it's like, oh, just run the Docker, and then you don't have to have it installed. You'll just have. It's like, okay, but then they have to have Docker. The point being, I don't care what you've got installed, as long as you've got C#, you're good enough. That's the minimum. C#, and you're good. That being said, SQLite can be accessed from other stuff as well. So, in our case, we're actually just going to include a NuGet package that's going to have the DLLs in there, and the DLLs are what read the file, and done. You don't need to install anything. All you do is build, it'll restore the packages, and you can read it. So it is an awesome solution for this. So it is. Let me go ahead and just grab this, because I'm just going to toss in the package real quick. So I'm going to grab a package reference. Do I not have any package references? That's funny. All right, tools, NuGet, console. All right, we're going to install Microsoft Data SQLite. So that's actually the only thing that we need in here is that. So, yeah, no. No worries. A lot of people weren't here at the beginning. That's why I re-explain stuff all the time. Don't worry about asking that kind of stuff. If you missed something at the beginning, ask again. I will repeat. I'm not going to leave people behind. You saw an MS Talk where they compiled SQLite to WebAssembly and ran it in Blazor after the web. That's awesome, Codebase Alpha. And yes, that is part of the point. Is that so there is a Microsoft Data SQLite implementation that Microsoft created. There is also, don't get confused, there is a System Data SQLite version that was made for .NET Framework back in the day. This is the newer one that was written for Core that has now been made backwards compatible. It's really confusing. But the point being, if you see both, they both technically work. This is the newer one. So just remember the Microsoft one matches more with the naming that Microsoft has been using with the .NET world, with the .NET Core world, and so that kind of makes this one more obviously the new one, and the system namespace matches more with the old one, and so I think that they both do about the same thing, but there's two choices in our space. I don't know of an open source like a community made one for this, but they exist in other languages, so you don't have to just be C#. Um, as far as deals, should you pull the name out with a const string Sunday name of Sunday and then to lower to upper on it? Oh, Cal Raven, I'm not sure. I want to do some weirdness with days of the week that we haven't touched yet, just to make it super evil. Oh, that's funny. It's still .NET 5. I'm not going to change it right now. But when we made this, it was .NET 5, not .NET 6, and I don't know why. Maybe .NET 6 was. I don't remember when we started this project. It was months ago. Should you pull the name out with a constant string and say Sunday equals name of Sunday and then two lower or two upper on it? Oh, I guess we could. But yeah, just arbitrarily pulling that out as an abstraction for no reason. I mean, we can. So now that we have it right, I was creating items. These are the items. I just pulled in Sqlite. So now I want to try to grab the data. Now, I haven't messed with Sqlite in a while. Also, the confusing thing, just a heads up, yeah, 6 probably wasn't released when we did it, when we created it originally, but we'll update it at some point. I'm not going to do it right this second. And I apologize about the white. I should have thought about that before I pulled this open, because Google doesn't do that, but now it's black. So sorry if I hurt everybody's eyes there for a second. Pro tip, if you're searching for Sqlite, week starts on a Tuesday for tax reason. You know, I think we talked about that the first time around, Codebase Alpha. So, Microsoft Data SQLite. I want you to look at this. So this is not SQLite, it is Sqlite. Notice there's not 2 L's there. So just a heads up if you're searching for this ever, it's not SQLite, it's Sqlite or SQLite. Just a heads up. It's a little confusing and weird, but that's the spelling. Okay, yeah, it looks perfect. That's our code. Okay, select. I want all of them. Star from Vertex. I don't need a parameter. Execute reader while reader read. And yes, we're absolutely doing this with a reader. Reader get string. No. We don't need to print them out. Oh my god. You know what I'm just realizing? We should totally pull them out by ordinal. Because that'll just be a nightmare. And now the names don't need to match. This is perfect. So we're going to have the names match to begin with. Should the reader be in a using statement? It is. It's in a using statement. While reader.read. Does it need to be? Technically, no, because the program's going to shut down immediately. It's not like this is long-lived, so we could leave it out. But I like the fact that it creates more indentation, which I think is going to confuse people more. Yeah, so Codebase Alpha, if you're doing it, so the problem with that is I think that cleans up the code, and I think more indentation is actually going to make this uglier. Because, well, yeah, I want to be indented as far over to the right as I possibly can get it. That's pretty much it. As far to the right as we can get. Take care, EDC. Have a good one. Okay, while reader read. All right, so item. Item equals new item. You know what? I'm creating it up here because that's fun. We're gonna put item up here at the top. And now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say item dot name equals reader dot get string of 0. Is that the first one? Yeah, name is the first one. Yeah, this is gonna be ugly. Okay, next step is product number. Product number, amount, identifier, shorten, nubbled, and then not nubbled. What was after that? And then first day, yeah. First day, so yeah, there we go. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, All right. Everyone, I have the coolest thing I need to tell you about because this is going to blow your minds right now. You don't know. Did you even notice what it is doing right now? Let me show you why modern languages are freaking cool. Okay, the red squiggles are correct, and that's the part that should blow your mind right now. Um, look at this. Cannot implicitly convert type string to decimal. It's like, dude, I tried to do that and you failed? It's great. Have I mentioned that I love strong typing? Get decimal. All right. Get integer. Ooh, what does it use? What does it use? Is it an int 32? Is it an int 64? I don't know. What's the default integer in Sqlite? I don't know. What's wrong with single letters of the alphabet for variable names? Yeah, exactly, Codebase Alpha. Yeah. I mean, I did some of those back in the day. Then this one was an integer. Get int 32. Okay, there we go. So that will have created the object, I think. And then item equals new item. This needs a static collection of items. It's going to return the collection of items, but it's going to have one. Private static read only. I love how it wants to give me the Sqlite connect. It's trying to be smart, but that's not what I want right now. Of items. Can I have these both be named items? No, so this will be this. Oh, standard list of item. Oh my, oh man, I'm already getting confused. I'm already getting confused. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's already confusing me. Oh man. No, I got a better idea. This is I. This is I. Thanks, Renee. Yeah. We gotta get, yeah. Oh, man. This is bonkers. Alright, so I add item. There we go. Alright, so now we're gonna do that. Alright, you don't even know yet, because hang on. I have an idea. We're gonna... I've been planning this since I put this in here. We're rearranging now. We're not pulling them out in order. Because why would we pull them out in order? Who says we have to pull them out in order? We're going to just scramble them. I don't know if anybody's ever going to have to work with that, but yeah, we're getting them mixed up for no reason. Yes, exactly. I as just a variable that is top level in a static class. Yes. Did I make it public? I hope I made it public. No, it's public. Public. Everything's public. First date is, of course, the first... oh, yeah. Yeah, first line. There you go. Thank you. Good point. That needed to be up top. Maybe order them by length of column. That's logical. No. We don't need your logic. Get that out of here. We don't need that. You know what? Just for the lulz. Equals item. Hang on. Just for the lulz. Here you go. Just for the lulz. I'm adding it to... I'm switching the reference around so I can clear it before we're done. For no reason. No reason at all. Now I return back I. I don't know why we're returning back this static object. This is effectively just loading a static collection in here that they have access to, that's available here. You know what? We are gonna make it private. We'll return it back here. And okay, now here's the best part. Something I'm not gonna do. Wait, no, I'm gonna put it to do. We're leaving it to do. What am I talking about? This is gonna be a permanent to do. Why was I was like, yeah, you know what? Don't get. You know what? I'm gonna put it down here because that's gonna be way too helpful. Why aren't we saving this for the future? Here. Save the item so we don't lose it. Add to I. Infinite loop. Sequel. Open. Create a command. Yeah, exactly. The to-do on there would have been too helpful. Do we need this using? Who wants to be in it? Who wants to be in the comment? Anybody want to be in the comment? And any volunteers to be the person that asked this question? Okay, stool penner it is. Stool penner. Yeah. Hey, so Cal Raven will get you to the next one. Oh, an empty to do. That's a good idea. Jim, it's not anywhere yet. We're creating it. So we are making this one right now, and part of the reason why is because I don't have enough refactoring katas for. So I'm an independent consultant. I do mentoring and training for various companies, all over the place, and I try to help those teams essentially in some way improve what they're doing. Some teams want to get better at TDD and writing unit tests, testing code. Maybe it's automation testing in general. Maybe it's UI automation. Maybe it's integration tests. I help teams with that. I help teams getting changes over into like more agile methodologies. I help teams with their CI stuff. I help teams with all kinds of different stuff. I've been doing that for about 6 years now. It's 6 years? 6 years now. It's a lot of fun. I get to work with a lot of people. And I do workshops and other stuff like that. So in my workshops, I want more refactoring katas. There are not enough of them. And so that is why I am... sorry, Codebase Alpha. I want to call you by your, old name. But I do not have the bot running, so you don't get a fuel snable command. This should say, write what we need to do here. Write what we need to do here. You know what? I will put a write what we need to do here. Write what we need to do here. And I will put an empty to do somewhere else. Okay. Yep. Yeah, sorry, Fuel Snable. We don't have that command right now. And greetings, welcome. Since you're using this is not bad code. Oh no, Fuel Snable, don't say that. Don't say that. This code can still be bad. Hang on, let me do this. Is this code not bad enough for you? What is this, static using? Is that how you write it? Ah, yeah, that's it. There we go. Get items. Var. items equals items. Can I do that? No, it doesn't like it because it's got this. No, that's the shopping. That's the shopping. There we go. Okay, we used a static using, so now we can just have a method called items that just comes out of nowhere. Like, what? Um, it's good to have bad code so that people can learn how to read legacy code. Yeah, so it's not just reading, it's the task in a lot of these things is to learn how to make changes to code that is really gnarly without breaking it. So essentially, it's exercises in learning how much testing should I put in place before I try making a change, and what are the costs of that, so that people can learn to evaluate. Should I be writing a test harness? Should I just try to make the change? How do I make it safely? What are some safe refactorings I can do to allow me to get some tests in place to make sure I don't break anything while I add this new feature? And just lots of little things like that. And what are the changes that I can fairly safely make to clean up the code before I make these changes? So things like renaming. Anytime you get one of those, start renaming anything you're allowed to rename if you get a gnarly piece of legacy code. Put a go-to in there. Item is too neat with everything as properties. Why not public fields? Oh, yeah, good point, Renee. Why string builder is being used? Make it a string concatenation. Make it work. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I use public fields and I'm not ashamed. And yes, I can. The code can get worse. The code can get. Also, I like that we did A and B for our loops. I forgot we did that. Okay, you make a good point, Renee. These shouldn't be properties. There we go. Although now that I think about it, maybe we should make like two of them properties just for no reason. Yeah. Typing is hard. There we go. All right. So for no reason, two of them are properties and the rest are not. Wait, wait, hang on. There are a lot of mocking frameworks I've used in the past. I used Rhino mocks back in the day, MOQ. I've used just mock, type mock. There's tons and tons of mocking frameworks, and they exist outside of C# as well. They're mocking frameworks, so you can use like there are. I mentioned type mock, funny enough, and that actually also exists in like the C++ world. So there are a lot of mocking frameworks, and yes, you should be using them. Though a lot of times I do think people rely too heavily on them. And I think they could get away with, so Fake It Easy is another good one. There are so many ways of getting fakes and mocks and stubs and all those kinds of stuff. So have a look at the syntax, look at the features, figure out which parts you need, and grab one and work with it. They're really good choices out there. Some of the backing field one. We could give one a backing field, couldn't we? Yeah, let's do that. What are the suggestions? Nope, we're not going to use those. All right. Since it doesn't seem to want to just give me a, it doesn't want to give it to me. I'm just going to write it, because I can. I used to do this back in the day. Also, I'm going to call the backing field on this one product for no reason. Product equals value. Private string product What's that complaining about? Let me make sure this builds. I'm not sure why that's red squiggling me. Something failed. What failed? Oh, am I missing? I'm missing a closing. Sorry. Don't fix my indents. Did you see that? It fixed my indents. All right, no problem, Stoolpanner. Have a good lurk there. You've been playing with WinUI 3 lately, and it has a huge reminder of how much of a system doesn't have an interface. Yeah, it is rude. It is trying to format my code for me. I don't want that. It's supposed to be painful. Also, do you like that I named I did product number as product? But since we're pulling these out by name, I can just rename this now. We're gonna rename product number to PN N Mula what's the ID? Unique? That's the unique. This is the... That's the name. Valid. Yeah, that works. Invalid. Because that makes no sense. Exactly. No. I did unique. I didn't want to do GUID. That'd be weird. But I figured unique was enough to make people think that it was going to be like a GUID, but it's not. It's just a number. I turn off all automatic formatting. Yeah. This is right now. I'm trying to write bad code. I'm trying to format strangely, so that's on me, not so much on them. This is my fault. I'm the one writing the bad code, so can't totally fault it there. I'm tempted to put item inside of items. In fact, I'm going to. So now when we use item class outside of here, it's going to be items.item, which is going to be extra awful. So there we go. So this will be item.items. Valid and disabled. Yes, good idea, Renee. Thank you. Disabled. All right, there we go. No. No, it's not. No, it got even better. Off. There's valid and off. Item, items, item. Exactly. Item, items, item. That's gonna be great. This code's fantastic already. I love your suggestion, but I'm going the other way. Is not invalid, right? Is not invalid is... I think I got the logic right there. Is not invalid. You gotta have a not in there. Can you use tuples without names? I mean, I think we're a little bit worse than that. But yes, you're right. We could return stuff. Yeah, is not invalid. We have a region, Fuel Snable. It's up here. See, we do have a region. But you're right. I should hide this. I should hide this in a region, shouldn't I? Item class. There you go. Because I needed a region to hide the item class. Region. Mapping code. There we go. Much better. Now we don't have to look at that. Remember. Oh, sorry. I don't want to get sued. I didn't sing it. Don't demonetize the vid. No, I don't get me. I don't make money off these videos. You watch Twitter a bit, and they were discussing whether one should use Sprox or not. I'm sure that was a fine discussion, Fuel Snable. Okay. Items. Item. Shopping dot items. You know what? That's a good point. Shopping. The shopping items is now going to be an empty collection. This is not going to return back that. That is going to be... This is going to create a list, but it's not going to return a list. It is going to return this as an array. For no reason. We're going to return back an array. So when we get it back here, we're going to make a method called load items that takes in an items dot whoops. An item array called items. And for each item in items, for each I in items, for no reason, items equals new list of shopping. This should be a list of item. Load products. This will be the. This is the shelf. Just for extra confusion, so shelf equals new list of items. For each I in that shelf, add I. Okay, what? Frozen Beast M. We're just working on this project. This actually predates our doing the vending machine kata. The field with the date allows to be sold to whatever should be named date time should be, but the database has no time element. And of course, store amounts as doubles and culture sensitive code. Yeah. For each or a select statement for an anonymous object that gets cast to items. Yeah. So it's just a loop which is going to run one time. Yeah, this is gonna get weird. Okay, so shopping no longer needs these. We did some weirdness with that, but we're going to back out that and we're going to have this. So shopping is going to be an object that contains a collection called shelf. Now we need to make sure that we've got extra stuff in here for no reason. Like extra, I love how you generally sounded disgusted by the anonymous select statement. Yeah, well, I mean, come on. What do you expect my reaction to be? Yes. Let's see. Load products. You know what? Brings in an array of these, but then we're for reaching over the set. So you know what? Hang on. We're gonna do a reverse for each over. Um, an integer that is item. It's going to be a length of. No, we're gonna go the other way. Hang on, we're gonna go forward. Yeah, the index is gonna be called item, and it's gonna be items.length. And then we're gonna start it at 1. It needs to be length. I was about to do equals, but we're instead gonna say +1. Because we're gonna go backwards. So we're gonna shelf add items item, but we're gonna go backwards, so it's gonna be not the item. So we're gonna start from the end and go to the beginning for no reason at all. And you know what? Just because I feel like it, we're going to put this in here, inside the loop. For no reason. No reason at all. And I'm doing this because first off, I love it. And we're not commenting this. We're not going to explain what that does. And should this be recursive? Ooh! Cow Raven, yes, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. Hang on. Private void. No, it's a private, private void add item. Add items. Hang on. Oh, this is evil. Stool penner. Yes, it's if the object is null, assign it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's not quite initialized. It's assigned to whatever the value is on the right. So like you take the value on the right and you put it in there if it was null. Very useful. Okay, so hang on. If we're gonna do this way, then every single time we just need to add the last item. But no, let's always add the first item. So it's going to be items.length this. And then we say if items length is equals 0. Yes, I'm writing equals. If length equals 0, return. And then we're going to say load products of items. And I did the negative index of the last thing, so that's effectively 0. So I want to do a 1 ... like that. Is this horrifying thing the correct answer? Whoa. Add F sharp code. Yes, that will add confusion. Hey, no problem, Jim. Thanks for swinging by. Hopefully you'll be back next time. Don't forget to hit the follow button if you didn't yet. Gotta make sure you don't miss these. And, yep, take care. And if anyone else is in here and you haven't hit the follow button yet, be sure to click that because that's how you get notified when we go live. And also join our Discord because I usually announce to the Discord when I'm going live. I'll send like a here and a link so you can show up. And there's also good discussions over there too. But yeah, have a good one. What's oh, Codebase Alpha, are you streaming again? I have no idea if you are. Okay, that looks horrifying, but I think it's gonna work. What is it? Length equals 0. We're reducing the items by 1, so 1 to that should always be good. Yeah, so item number 1 to that. Yeah, that should be fine. We're funny enough. You can like if someone actually thinks about it, you can just change this to 0. Like this, there's no reason to be doing the last item of a reverse index like this. Oh, extract the item before adding it to the shelf? Yeah, we can. Yeah, sure. I thought it was confusing to have it in here, but yeah, if you think it's worse to have it here, then that's fine. So it'll be I again, because I like having a variable named I. Or I equals that. Or J equals that one. J. Yeah, exactly. Fuel Snable. It's going to depend on the kind of code you write. But for anybody that's ever having to write like substrings and other stuff like that, ranges definitely help. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, as long as you have more than one, you do that. And then you know what? This could be down here just so there's a bigger separation between when you use the variables and when they appear. And you know what? Because I can, let's indent further over to the right. Else, if items.length is not equal 0. I like it. Almost seems purposeful. And I also love that you did not equal 0. Not greater than 0, but not equal 0. Very important distinction there. I have an idea. Hang on, I had a thought. Hang on, where is it? Shopping. Hang on. Private const int n. We're gonna have a const 1. So there's our 1. Hang on. Private const int m. M for empty. Look, we made a constant for 0. We're not using magic numbers in here. So if length equals m. If it does not equal m. Come on, it's empty. Empty? M for empty. Yep, the empty one. Wait. I got a better idea. Hey, thanks for following the stream. Welcome. Yes, M for MT. Thank you. That's a good idea. So we want to change this. So I want to do M, but I want to have a private int M that this is going to use. We're going to say M gets assigned 0 and returned, right? So that's read only. Oh no, that yeah, never mind. We're not doing it there. So and that wait, isn't that an int? Oh, yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. Because we would have defaulted to 0. So we have a nullable. We have a nullable int m which gets that value. And you know what? Just so that no one gets this too easy, this is going on the bottom of the file. So if you go looking for where m is defined, all you get is m equals either the value of m or it gets assigned 0 if it was null, which is great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it needs to be changeable. Someone could want to change it at runtime. Have fun, Cal Raven. Private constant n equals convert to int32. Oh, that's a good idea. So we'll have n down there. So this will be n and m, and this one gets this will get convert to int32, and it'll be n string. You know what? I was about to remove the comment, but no, we're leaving the same comment there. Because that's even better. N string. There we go. All right, so now n is 1. Just so we're clear, n is 1. When we use it here, for this, that's 1. For some bonkers reason. And when you look up what the value of n is, you get up here and you get, okay, it's either this value or it gets a converted of that value. Which, you know what? We need constants. We need a file of constants. We need constants. Here we go. We need an internal constant string that is n, and it equals 1. There we go. Constants n. There we go. Perfect. Mr. Shoji, hey, welcome. Greetings. Needs more threads. I feel like there's not enough bitwise setting in here. Yeah, that's fair, Mr. Shoji. We haven't done any bitwise operations. You're right. That sounds horrible, by the way. But you make a really good point. So inside of our constants, we have n. So m is going to be that. Just for no reason. There you go. Congratulations. Yes, you don't that's the best part. You don't even need to know what I'm talking about. Constant M and N swap names too. Ooh. Yes. Yes. M N. Constant M is a string. Constant N is an int. Oh, perfect. Yes, that's great. That code is entirely unreadable. Load product. There's got to be another way to load products that's even worse, though, right? And the best part is because we have this like so indented and ridiculous, at first glance, you are not going to notice the recursion. You're just going to totally miss this. I Wait, hang on. Wait, hang on. I just had an idea that's horrible. I just had an idea that is truly evil. No, we're getting weirder. We're getting weirder. Um, items length equals n. Return back. Because why not? Hang on. Return back the item. Zero to n. Single. No. 0 to n 0. Because that's weirder. Okay. Should just use dynamic everywhere. What if you adopt Golang? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna. All right. So this is gonna get a little bit confusing here. So we're gonna return back the first item from this from the set here. If we're doing this. Otherwise, we're gonna remove it. Items length is greater than n. Then we're gonna do that. And we're gonna do this, sort of. Okay. I gotta make sure my brain doesn't break while I do this. So if you have more, so effectively, if you have more than one item, then you need to grab the item set, and then the item, and then that's the item set you need to pass on. That's the. We're not actually taking the item because we're gonna get it in the next one. So the item, so the shelf load products equals the next item down's thing. And then returns I that we saved, because that's currently the first item. We're passing this into the next one so that it can get added in here the first time through. It's not actually going to add anything. It would return the first item, and the 0 to M. Thank you, Mr. Shoji. Thank you. Yes, you're correct. Almost. We need the M there also. Swifty Spiffy, hey, it's been forever. Welcome. We're writing intentionally terrible code. try not try not to have your brain crumble into mush. The first zero is magic. It can't be too consistent. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Um, the first time you call this, it returns back an item. Okay, so hang on. We need to make a new thing. So there's load products, and then there's load product. This one. This one will do this also. Shelf is null, then add the first product. Items. The only problem with going this route is I make the method far more confusing, but it's easier to tell that what we're doing is recursion. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Yeah, exactly, Swifty Spiffy. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so this is intentionally bad code written for Kata. So we are making it so that anybody that does this is going to be choosing to do this. Load product. I don't know why it's an argument out of range exception, but it's an argument out of range exception now. Okay, I think that code's going to load our products. Shelf.add is a void method. There's no return on it, so we can't get away with that. You scrap and rewrite it. The problem, Renee, is you don't necessarily. Like, danger with that is you don't know everything that it does. So that's why you don't want to scrap and reload. But the intention is to get you to not mess with it. That's what you want to. That's what you want to do. You want to not mess with this code. You want to get confused by what it does, and then be afraid to mess with it in case it does something you didn't think it did. That's part of the point. Okay. What did I call these? Shelf. Yeah, it's the shelf now. Ah, right. I forgot I added that. Oh, that's weird. You know what? Item is gonna get that. Cause why not? I had that in the old one. Let me go steal that again. There's some code I used to have that I deleted today. We're gonna bring it back. Resurrecting the code. Resurrecting the code. It's going in the item class. We're doing the operands for. We're operator overloading for equals so that you can do equality between an item and a string. Just for the confusion. Shelf. Moolah. Oh, we did do a double. That's funny. On this one. Decimal. I had forgotten that we used the loop as the thing. The stuff you totally forget. Mike Eaton. You changed your name to Mike Eaton. You might have done that previously. You should comment on a block of code that looks similar to what's there with a to-do, implement later just to confuse things. Oh, that's a good idea. Like, take this, make a duplicate of it. To do. Figure out why this didn't work. No, it's gonna rock. Figure out why this didn't rock. I need typos in here. You should. And you know what? Here's what we need. We're gonna have an add that takes an item and it does shelf.add it with one of these just in case, you know? Because we need to make sure every time before we call this collection that it's not null. So now we're just calling add. Add. We needed that. Very useful. The item operators, I mean, just to clarify with the time. Wait, hang on. The item operators belong in the deals class? I don't know that I can put them in there and still have them be operators for the items, though. Can I? I don't think I'd be able to. The deals over there don't exist yet, but I do remember that the deals were going to be the discounts, so that the deals and the discounts were confusing. Here's deals. Deals, yeah. No, we were going to have two deals in different namespaces. Hey, Sudo! Welcome. It has been a while. You don't need the command, just type teal. It's just teal, and then you just say it. Assuming it's still running. Is it not running? Did it break? No, it might have broken. Well, I might need to update the OAuth. That's probably what it is. But I'm not going to do that on stream, because that's, pointless. Okay. Where are we? So we have a list of deals, and discount. Yeah. Here's discounts. Okay. So we've got a good structure here. I think the next big things that we need to do are, so this is for us, like for our to-dos. I would say our big to-dos are a feature for either buying an item or ordering new items or something like that. We need to build a couple of the basic features, like you attempt to buy it, it applies discounts, stuff like that. I'm thinking API. I don't know what everybody else's thought on that is, but I'm thinking API. So we have items that does this, that does a mapping code that gets this, that gets all the items, and then after you get the items, we do the load. So this gets us the items, and then we get the items, and then we need to say shopping dot. Did I not make that public? Hang on. Oh, I need to make a new shopping. Whoops, my bad. I forgot, I need to make the shopping object. This won't be confusing at all. That's an IEnumerable. Which means I need an array, right? What are these? Shelf equals shopping. No, I could do array, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to pointlessly do this. Select it, and then order by for no reason. Maybe there'll be a reason sometime later. The best part is, I think name might be short name. I don't remember. Order by short name, and then to array for no reason, and this takes in shelf. Okay, there we go. That's get items. Make a shopping. Get shelf by name. Load products. There we go. Perfect. I understand everything that's going on here now. It's a good thing I added these comments. They really help me understand. Okay, fantastic. All right. So, I think we made some good progress. I want to go ahead and commit these, but I do want to talk to you about a couple of things. So first off, if you haven't been watching my YouTube channel, seriously go check out my YouTube channel. I'm finally posting videos there. So I've got actually videos scheduled to go out for the coming weeks already, and have been recording more. Production quality, I'm trying to improve as we go, but like they start off, they're okay. But I do have some good videos up there. What I'm trying to do is short little, like 5-10 minute videos on our YouTube channel. They just have like useful information about stuff that I can toss in there. I do try to produce them pretty well. So a lot of work goes into them, but I also want to keep them short so that I stand a chance of getting them published regularly. So, for example, a video that came out recently was on VS Code, just like tips and tricks in VS Code. And the thing with that one is that, like, I did 3, right? Like, I could make dozens of videos of that size on that topic. So it's like, yeah. So eventually I will create a playlist of all these tips. So if you wanted to watch all of them, you can just go through and make sure that you catch all of them, or you can watch, one at a time as they come out. But if you are able to, please subscribe and interact in the videos and all that kind of stuff. Additionally, I also want to try to get our streams a little bit more regular. So I want to at least do 1 stream a week, maybe 2. We'll see how that goes. They're not all going to be the writing terrible code. Some of them are going to be the I want to get back to some of our old projects that we were working on, and I want to do some of these where we're working on building katas for stuff, and then I also want to do some where we're implementing them. And I'm also going to be talking to some guests so that we can bring on other people and do some more pairing like we used to, so I can have some people way up there in the corner talking to us. So yeah, that's the plan. Also, as Janice, you may have noticed, I did update our emotes, and whenever I can, I'm going to try to get more commissioned because we have space for more emotes now. So if you are a subscriber to the channel, or if you just use your channel points, you can unlock the emotes. But we do have some cool emotes if you are interested. This is actually September, so they're trying to like get people to subscribe to channels during this month. So if you are interested in subscribing to my channel or anybody else's, this is the month to do it. And then lastly, somewhere I have a thing for maybe the credits roll on the outro now. That might be what I have. I don't remember how that works.